Hello, welcome to the West Ham Way YouTube. Myself, Mark Carlaw, and Riley Finch. Riley, a very hungover Riley Finch, I believe. Did you go pub golf or something yesterday, mate? Is it something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Something that you young people do? I don't know.
I did the old pub golf. I mean, for those,
Mm.
it's kind of complicated to explain, but
Mm.
essentially, you just got to down the drinks in as least amount of attempts as possible,
Yeah.
and each sort of pub is a whole. And I was doing quite well to be fair. I was quite proud of myself. And then you have to
Mm.
dress up in like golf stuff, and obviously, like I'm an avid golfer. I love golf, so two of my favorite things, drinking and golf, all together. But
Combined. Perfect. Yeah.
there was a bit of a water hazard at the end, I think, and it was a messy
That
end to the
doesn't sound
night,
good.
let's say.
Go on,
But
explain. What do you mean, a water hazard? Go on, explain.
I think it's probably best left unsaid. To be fair, mate, I think you can infer what you want from that. But down in drinks, 12 drinks. I mean, yeah, it's think didn't go very well towards the end of the night. But I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling good, and I'm excited to watch West Ham smash Everton tomorrow. I am very much hoping.
Yeah,
It's
well, I'm quite looking forward to your predictions because usually they're quite
mm,
negative. So let's see how we go today. Maybe hopefully the Guinness of yesterday
realistic, not
swayed you,
negative. They're
in
realistic.
another direction. So Everton away, big game this Sunday. Arguably a must win now, I think, in terms of where we are in the league, and you need to start getting some points on the board. And I actually think that counts for both sides.
Mm,
So it's got the sort of hallmarks of being a very, I don't know, quite possibly it could be an exciting game or quite a tight game. I'm not sure, but.
mm.
Yeah, what are your thoughts going into this, mate? Are you feeling confident, or are you thinking, this could be a bit
Mm.
of an issue for us this Sunday?
Everton are so poor, man. I mean, this it's got to be a game that we're getting 3 points in. I mean, you can talk about certain types of games being those where, like, you can get a point, but if we are
Mm,
going to be pushing for 6, 7, or 8, or even flip side, if we're not beating a team like Everton, this is relegation form. Honestly, it is. So, we
mm,
need to be beating them. The only thing that worries me is we don't really play too well against 3 at the back formations or 5 at the back formations.
mm.
I wonder if Moyes is going to go for what he went with against Tottenham with 4 now slotting into that sort of left wing back spot out of
Yeah,
possession. But Everton are a side that, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because they don't really have a big number 9. I know they've got Mulpay in, who, he loves a goal against us,
he
but they
does.
don't.
Yeah,
They have a very weird sort of front three going on. It's going to be difficult. I mean, someone definitely needs to get on Anthony Gordon. And I think when we get those sorts of tricky, explosive wingers, we really struggle, especially when they're down like Creswell's side. So I think Emerson is someone I really want to see starting. Even potentially
yeah.
a back five, I think might be best for this game. It all depends on the approach, but it's got to be 3 points, mate, isn't it? Especially with Pickford out as well, which is a massive blow for Everton. I know we've got our injuries ourselves, but he's a character. He's a great goalkeeper, and I think we're going up
Mm.
against Asmir Begovic instead. So that's a massive plus for us.
It is, yeah, and I think we've got to take advantage of that. Really, as you say,
Mm,
not only is he a decent keeper on his day, Pickford, but he's a leader, isn't he? He kind of he's like such a focal point for the team. He sort of seems to push them on. So I'm really hoping that does dent them a fair bit. And you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, and it's no disrespect to Everton. I know sometimes I've had a couple, their fan base on Twitter can be a little bit noisy at times, but no disrespect to them. But West Ham should be beating them really home and away. If we want to be considered a top sort of 6, 7 side, we've got to be beating these teams. And the fact is, obviously added to it now at the start, we've had over 4 points from 6 games. This is a really important game. I even think a
mm,
draw would be a poor result for us. Really, we've
yeah.
got to go in and get the 3 points. It's going to be interesting how we line up, and obviously we've just come off the back of a win in Europe, and we haven't really spoke about that yet. But the result obviously was decent. We got the win. That's all really all that matters. But I actually thought we played really well. I thought for the majority of the game we did very well. It was only towards the end where we kind of tailed off, and I think the substitutions were a key to that. Do you see the likes of Flynn Downs possibly making an appearance against Everton as he didn't feature
Mm.
on Thursday?
I think if Souček's fit, I think we talked about it in a previous video with
Mm,
putting Souček up against someone like Onana would probably be a better suit to someone like Finn Downs because you just chuck him on. I mean, Onana on Rice or Downs is going to win every single header. He's an explosive midfielder. We need to keep him under wraps.
mm,
Um, I think with Souček's fit, he is going to start ahead of Downs, but really disappointed not to see him start on Thursday. I'm not sure
yeah.
what the thinking behind that was. I mean, whether he is being rested for Sunday, maybe, but I don't think Moyes is like that. I think if you're playing well, he's just going to pick you. So
Mm,
I'd imagine he doesn't start, but I'd love to see him start. I mean, a team like Everton, you want to be keeping a hold of the ball. You want to be sort of picking them apart. They're very poor defensively. They don't really do too well out of possession. So I think it's when you see the level of sort of composure from a partnership like Rice and Downs, we just be able to control the game. So I personally think I'd love to see Downs start, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, I agree. I'm of the same mindset. I think it'll be Souček that starts, and if that is the case, then you've got to really feel for Downs in midweek. I don't really know why he was dropped then, because he did more than earn a chance against Silkeborg, in Denmark. So I'll be really disappointed if he doesn't feature at all against Everton. I'd like to think that's the right mindset that he's been resting, but I agree with you. I just don't think that's how Moyes operates. But we will see. Obviously, then you've got other players like Max Cornet. You've got Skamaka now knocking on the door for starting. It's quite interesting, really, this whole Cornet business, because he's kind of not really been given much of a chance as yet, although he's featured here and there. But when he has, he's looked very good, and I think he's knocking on the door. But then also you've got Ben Rama, who's been very good for us since it's the start of the season and in pre-season. It's kind of it's hard to sort of predict, isn't it? Who he's gonna go for. I imagine Maka will start on the bench. That's my guess. I think that with Antonio being rested, I think that he'll be starting. That's my guess on that. But with Cornet, I'm just not sure. I would love to see Cornet start, to be honest. I think he's kind of earned his right. He looks very good. What's your feelings? Are you seeing Cornet ahead of Ben Rama at this stage, or do you still think that Ben Rama is probably one step ahead just at the moment?
Well, I mean, a name we haven't even mentioned, mate, is Fornals, and I think he's got to be starting at the moment for me. I mean, he just seems like the player that's making it all tick at the moment for us. And obviously we've got Paqueta as well, who I think should be starting. One for me, I mean, obviously, in the next sort of video that we're doing, we're going to be talking about Jarrod Bowen. I think he's got to be dropped. And I think Cornet could easily do a job on the right-hand side. He's explosive, he's direct, he's quite similar to Bowen. He loves to cut in and shoot. We haven't seen that from him just yet because he hasn't really been given that kind of chance. But for me, someone like Jarrod Bowen needs to be dropped. He's too protected in this West Ham side by Moyes, and partly that's because he's a young player, and partly that's because we know what we can do in his given day. But he's too protected. He needs to be dropped. I don't think he should be starting against Everton. I think Cornet needs to be starting on the right hand side as opposed to the left. I think you can.
Oh, well, would you want to see Cornet ahead of Bowen then? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I want to see Cornet ahead of Bowen, and unless we opt for Antonio on the wing and Skamaka up top, which I don't think we're going to go for. I think Antonio will start, like you said. I think Cornet's got to start over Bowen. I think he's got to, and then that frees up the left hand side for Ben Rama or Fornals. And who knows? Maybe Paqueta might start in the 8. Maybe Paqueta might be playing like a false 9. It's a weird thing with West Ham now, isn't it? Because last year the team picked itself, but there's so many different decisions and stuff to make. I mean, it's interesting.
It is, and I think that's what we wanted. I mean, and you're right. It's kind of like it's a good problem to have. I quite like it that we're all kind of going. We've got this pool of players now that we have available, and they're all, because the difference this season is the quality in depth, isn't it? It's not so much having just depth. We've just got so much quality now, and it is hard, and that's what we wanted. But yeah. To be honest with you, when we talk about, I know I'll say I think Antonio will start, and I still think he will. I actually thought Skamaka played very well on Thursday. His hold-up play was fantastic. He really he sort of ran the show a little bit, really. Especially, it was very noticeable once he left the pitch that we weren't retaining possession at all. So maybe he will start, but because I do like the idea of having Antonio on the bench and having Skamaka worn them down for 45 minutes or an hour, and then putting Antonio in, because let's be honest, that it must be a nightmare for defenders to see him running on, thinking, "Oh my God, I've got half an hour of him now."
I do think as well, it's a game where Everton are going to try and box us out, and when you got a player like Skamaka, and he did it so often for his previous club, you could just pick up the ball and sort of the edge of the box and just smash it top bins like he did against Silkeborg. I think that's going to be a really important asset to have, because they will try and box us out. They try and bully us out of the box, defending numbers, get 10 men behind the ball. I think if you've got someone like Skamaka who is going to link up the play a little bit more for us, and then again, is the presence in the box. I mean, he would be an interesting asset to have. And like you say, having Antonio coming off the bench, we've seen it so many times before. He's a different player when he comes off the bench. But he's in great form at the moment, and if he starts, I'm not going to be upset about it. I mean, what formation do you think we should be playing, though? Do you think we've got to play a 5? Is it too negative against Everton? Should we just go 4-2-3-1?
I actually would rather see us not. I'm not so sure on this 5-back-5 business, although I do like it. I have liked it when we've adopted it before, and it's a formation I quite like. When I play FIFA and things, I quite like that formation. I think it works quite well, But I know it's obviously different. But I do
You're
like
quite
it.
a
It's a nice
tactician,
step
then, I
on.
guess, Mark, is what I'm getting from this. He's played the custom tactics on FIFA. He knows what's best. Get him in the dressing room.
That's it, yeah. But no, I do like it. But I actually no, I think it's negative. I'd rather see us go for a back four
Mm.
and play more attacking. This is a game we've got to win, and I'd rather see. I don't want to see us sit too deep, really, unless of course we're going to play counter attack, which I do quite like us doing. But I don't know. I personally know I'd rather see a back four for this. What do you think? Can you see a back four for this, or you reckon he's going to go for the wing back
Oh, I don't know. I
option?
mean, Everton's a weird team. They play with a back three, but they don't tend to stretch like the teams too much. They don't tend to they don't do the Spurs or the Chelsea thing where they just overload the sidelines and the wings, and you end up sort of going all over the place. They do tend to just sort of, it's more of a defensive thing for them than an attacking. So
Mm,
I don't mind going a back four and just trying to deal with someone like Anthony Gordon. I mean, he's the main sort of player we've got to
yeah,
be watching out for. And I think as well, if we've got the 2-3-1 up sort of going into midfield, that will
mm,
overload their midfield, and they're very weak in midfield. The game is going to be won in midfield, I think, in this game. And if we
I
can stop
agree.
Onana, or stop Onana with his progressive carries, and
Yeah,
just allow Declan Rice to control the game. And that's why we want someone like Downs in there as well. But I think back four. I think Emerson has to start for me. Same back four, but I think Soufal, I'd rather see someone like Ashby play maybe, but I think Soufal will start.
yeah.
Get Rice and Souček in midfield. I think that's what it's going to be. Fornals in the left-hand spot, Paqueta in the 10, Cornet on the right, and Antonio up top.
Yeah, I actually, you know what? I don't think it's a bad lineup at all. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I just, yeah. I mean, this is that one game now. We've got to get the points, haven't we? By hook or by crook, we've just got to win this match. And I think you're right. I think it's going to be a bit of a battle. This, and the other thing to be slightly not concerned about as such, but Everton do seem like they've slightly turned a corner. I know that they haven't been overly great this season, but I think against Liverpool they played quite well. They're starting to look a little bit more organised. I don't think this is going to be a cruise. But the good thing, the one thing I'm mindful of is if we get an early goal there, being at Goodison Park, you imagine the crowd will get on their back quite fast. I think that's what we've got to try to do, to try and just get there and upset the home crowd, get on the pressure mountain straight away on Lampard and co. So, but yeah, I'm quietly optimistic about tomorrow. Right, so that's obviously what I'm leading to now, mate. What do you think the scores are going to be?
I think it's going to be 2-1 West Ham, mate. 2-1 West Ham. I think we're in good goal scoring form, but I think there is still some big leaks in the defence. And like you say, they did turn a bit of a corner against Liverpool. I think they should have scored as well. And I
Yeah.
think they will just sneak one in. But I'm very confident we're going to win tomorrow.
Oh, bloody hell. Well, you must
Very
have had a lot to
confident.
drink last night. Flipping hell.
Mate,
Riley said
listen,
Riley says we're
I
going to
don't know
win a
why I
football
get this
match.
rep. I don't know why I get this rep. I mean, I could be playing bloody Barcelona next weekend, and I'd be like, I'm not sure, maybe 1-1. You'd be like, oh, he's so negative, isn't he? Look at him, he's so negative. Like, I'm just trying to be
Well,
realistic.
well, I'm glad you are, because if that is realistic, that's good, because that's what I have actually predicted. I think it's going to be 2-1 to West Ham. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I think it's going to be very
No,
cagey, very tight. But
yeah,
I think we've just got to get right at them, be
mm,
confident. I don't want to see us sit back and defend and strike. I just think we've got to be very aggressive in this match and go right at them. And I think we will be. I think the Thursday night will give us a lift. Also, Moyes going back to his old club, which we haven't touched on as well. But I think that
true.
adds a little bit of something to it as well. Yeah, I'm quietly optimistic, and really, mate, we've just got to win it, haven't we? One way or another, we've got to win that match.
We've got to win ugly. I mean, I don't care how we win, but Everton haven't got to win all season. We just can't allow it. And the worst part as well is, if they do end up winning the game and getting a result, we all know what the papers are going to read. Moyes out, is he in trouble? We don't want that at the start of the season. Just got to
No,
get that win, start looking up towards the end of the table, and kickstart our season, mate.
absolutely. Thanks for watching, everyone. Cheers.